Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to talk about past lives and past life regressions. And I've done videos, I don't really remember, but I've obviously touched on past lives before. But today I really want to get into it and just be raw and open and honest about what I've experienced, and maybe not in major details, because my life is private and my soul connections with people are private as well. But I definitely feel like being open and just kind of sharing what I've gone through, especially over the past few days. It's been really tough. And I know for some people this feels like such an out there topic, right? And my job, as always, is never to convince you to believe something that you don't believe in. This is always about taking what resonates with you and leaving the rest. And if you don't believe in past lives, that's fine. But I don't need anyone to try to convince me otherwise, because, what I feel is valid for me, and that's my truth. So, I would appreciate it if people could respect what I'm going to say today. And if you don't resonate with it, then just leave it. I don't need to hear any negative comments or anything like that. But if you do have positive comments, or if you do resonate with what I say today, feel free to send me a message or to comment and stuff like that. So, as I've said before, we choose our lives and we choose everything. We choose, the lessons we need to learn in this life, and we choose our family, and we kind of map out what we need to learn in this life. And this is all done, up in source, spirit. People get, again, caught up in labels, which I always say, it's up to you what you want to label things: the universe, source, spirit, God, angels, whoever you want to refer to. Heaven, you refer to it as whatever you want. I'm just going to say in spirit or in source, wherever. We kind of plan out our lives, which I've mentioned before, like I said. And, we basically have pinpoints that we have to hit in this life. And we have free will, so you can choose road A or road K to get to the next point, but either way you're going to get to the major big point that you need to get to. So, with that being said, which I've said before, here's about 2 or 3 minutes of stuff I've already said. I just think it's really interesting, the whole concept of past lives. I definitely believe that we have past lives for many reasons. One is we're drawn to a lot of things in this life that we can't understand why. We're drawn to certain types of foods, certain types of styles in terms of clothing or in terms of anything. We're drawn to a lot of cities, a lot of countries, a lot of foreign things for whatever reason. Languages. We're drawn to things naturally. We're drawn to our hobbies, and there's all these things that are just in our DNA, right? We just naturally feel attracted to certain things and to certain people. And we may have dreams, like I have. This is one example, where I was in Paris and I knew where I was going. I've never been to Paris in this lifetime, and I've always been drawn to Paris for whatever reason, and I've had a dream. I probably had multiple dreams of being there, but there's one specifically that I remember vividly. And I probably had this dream a few years ago, and it stands out to me, and I was going by some water, and I've never studied Paris. I don't know what their bodies of water look like or where they are, and I was in this underground metro and, going around, and I knew where I was going. And like I said, I've never been there in this life, but it was very comfortable for me to be there in this dream, and I knew that I was there and where I was going. And so it just kind of shows you that either I lived there before, or I'm there, I guess, in some other dimension or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's bizarre, but it's the way it is, and it's really interesting. And obviously what I really want to dive into today is meeting up with soulmates and soul family in this life. And I believe, obviously, we have many, many soulmates that we meet up with in this life. And, this could be your family, like your blood family. You could have been like a grandma to your grandma in this life, or you could have been a mom to your mom, or a sister to your mom, or there's all these different variations of how you were related to people before, but, we definitely have had experiences with certain people before this lifetime. And like I said, that could be true for your blood family, but this can also be true for your friends. And who knows, one of your best friends could have been one of your sisters, or that they could have been your mother. I mean, there's so many options. And I just think it's unreal when you meet up with someone in this life and you're just so taken by their presence for whatever reason. You know, as soon as you meet, you just have that instant soul recognition, and something within you just kind of lights up and goes, oh my God, you know, like I know you. Maybe I don't know you in this lifetime, but I know you. And that's just so interesting to me. And like I said, this happens with, well, I don't want to say many people, because I don't think it happens with everybody, but I do believe that there are probably a small group of people in this life that you will meet, or you have met, that you just know right away that they're going to play a very important role in your life, and you know that you've had past experiences with them, and you're just very moved by their very presence, right? And this is something that I've experienced with a few people, and it's kind of unreal. You know, it's a really unreal experience, and it's actually really difficult to go through sometimes in terms of trying to explain this to other people, or many times we don't even feel like we have to explain it to other people. You know, we always feel things, and we are affected by things whether we know it or not. And this is something I say all the time, and it's true, right? We're always affected by other people's energies. We're always affected by the planets. We're affected by the sun, by the moon. We're affected by everything that's happening in the universe. Now, we're not always conscious of what we're being affected by. And same goes for past lives. There are certain habits that we have, and there's certain behavioral patterns that we exhibit that we're not always conscious of. And even if we become conscious of how we're acting, especially in relation to certain people, we don't always know why. And this is why past life regressions and doing meditations and kind of going back to past lives is so interesting. What else was I going to say there? Something just came to me. And it kind of left me for a second, but it'll come back. So anyway, you know, there's just so many things that we're always being affected by. Period. You know, we may not be conscious of it, but we're always being affected by everything. And everyone is affected by us and our energy and what we emit, right? And so just because people aren't conscious of their past lives doesn't mean that they're not affected by their past lives. And, you know, maybe not everyone is going to understand the relationship that you had in another life. And I don't think it's necessarily our job to go up to people and say, hey, I knew you in a past life, and this is what happened, and blah, 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 and this is why, you know, our relationship dynamic is this way, you know, because not everyone's open to that, and not everyone is even meant to be conscious of that in this life. So it can be really difficult being on a spiritual path in general, you know. There's many things that we experience that people call crazy, and there's a lot of judgment, and like I said, it's not about the judgment, it's just about going with what resonates with you. And yeah, you know, there are a few people in particular that I can think of, and when I first met them, I remember the first day I met them, and I remember the first times that I've interacted with them, and then first times that I talked to them, and I remember being so blown away. And obviously, unconsciously, like on some level, my soul recognized them and their soul recognized me. But I was also conscious of it. Now, they may not be, but I definitely was, and I still am very conscious of the fact that we've had, you know, previous lives together and previous experiences together. And that's not a shock to me. You know, it's been something that's been known for years between my relationships with certain individuals. I've known for sure that there's a familiarity, and that there's just something very special between us. And I know that, you know, for whatever reason, we're meant to be together again in this life. And maybe I don't know the complete purpose that we're supposed to have in this life, but, you know, there's certain friends for sure that I know we will end up just having some sort of profound experience together in this life. And it's not for me to try to plan out what we're going to do in this life or what we're going to learn from each other. But, you know, it just helps me in a way to know that we've had past lives together, because it just helps me see our relationship dynamic and how we can improve it and how we can grow and how we can change. And how things can just become more balanced and more healthy. Because sometimes you interact with people and it becomes really out of whack and off balance and you're not sure why. And a lot of times it's because of how you interacted with them in a past life, which is really interesting. Now I can go on about this forever, but what I really wanted to share was that I saw this on Oprah on Sunday. And there was a doctor, and I believe his name was Dr. Weiss. That could be wrong, but I think it's Dr. Brian Weiss. And it was just so interesting, and it really made me happy to see this, because there's more and more programming like this, more and more awakening going on in the world, which I think is so important. And basically this doctor was a classical scientific, he's very classically trained, he was scientific, everything was very linear. And he was a psychologist, I think, back in the 70s, and he just kind of did his thing, traditional, very straight line, conservative, linear thinking, left brain, right? Like, this guy was a psychologist, and he was helping people in the traditional way. And then he did have one patient in particular who just changed his complete life in his practice. And she was I think they were doing some sort of hypnosis, so they were doing a hypnotic state, and he didn't even know what it was, really, what was coming out of her. Like, there was many messages coming through her from some of her past lives, and then she was even able to communicate with his relatives who have passed away to give him messages, and she knew things that nobody else knew. And keep in mind that this was a time before the internet, before you could Google your doctors, right? Like, this woman had absolutely no way of knowing certain things, and she proved to him, basically, without even trying, that this obviously exists. Past lives exist, spirit exists, you can connect to people who have passed away and all this stuff, right? So this completely changed this guy's life around, and I think it was just amazing to see this and how he explained to basically the general public on national television what his experience was. And obviously he dealt with a lot of fear, and I think we all do when we become really aware of something spiritually, because we know that there's still a lot of people that are going to judge it and that are going to, come up with the scientific proof, but there's so many things that you just can't always scientifically prove. But now science is catching up to spirituality, which I think is fantastic in many, many ways. So it's great that a lot of people are awakening, but I think the greatest thing of all is that we're just all starting to really trust ourselves in what we experience. And this guy, I just was so impressed and I was so amazed, and I'm just really, 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 really pleased that things like this are making it out to the mainstream. And because there really are so many fear-based things that are out there on television, between movies and just TV shows in general. There's a lot of fear-based stuff, right? And I think it's really great that people are learning how to connect with their angels. And there was a girl that I saw as well. She was a medium in the States, and she was on Dr. Oz and enlightening people how to connect with their higher self and with their angels. I think this is so fantastic that stuff like this is going mainstream, because I think it's obviously really important. And I think it's great to be able to learn how to trust yourself and your intuition and to connect to your soul. So anyways, this guy just really inspired me, and I decided to Google him and YouTube him, and I decided to do a past life regression meditation that he led. And it was only about 30 minutes. So, you can look up these things. Anyone can do it. You can definitely go back in your memory and remember things from your childhood that have been hidden in your mind. And that's where a lot of pain lies, It's either back to your childhood or back into past lives. And this is why it's so interesting, because think of a phobia you have, or think of someone you love who has this huge phobia or fear of something. And if they haven't had an experience in this life to make them have that fear, it makes sense, to me anyway, that it would lead back to a past life. So I did a past life regression meditation, and the key really is just to let it happen. You have to be very, very relaxed, and you have to just trust what comes up for you. And And what I experienced didn't shock me at all, because I know that this is one of the soulmates that I have recognized naturally in this life. And, it just kind of reaffirmed to me that we do have such a greater past, and our soul connection is so much bigger than the physical reality that we live in this life. And it also shed a lot of light on our relationship dynamic and how I feel. I feel a lot of emotions that come up, and I don't always understand why, and a lot of it comes from this past life that I experienced. And I just think it's so interesting. And I really do think it's helpful. And you know what? I think you can end up feeling a lot of intense emotions, and I think it's really, really difficult to deal with sometimes. And it's the same as when we go through a Mercury retrograde, you know what I mean? We deal with these old pasts and pains that come up, and it's not easy. It's definitely difficult to deal with stuff like this, but I think the awareness is where it all begins, and I think it's important to let people know that it's okay to experience stuff like this, and that it's not crazy. This stuff is deeply in your mind, and people have been researching this for years, like Carl Jung, and there's all these philosophers that have experienced stuff like this and have talked about dream states, and it's not out there. It's not as out there as you think it is. It's very normal to feel things and to feel things that are from another time. Like, it's actually not that weird, because it's within your soul. And you just come into different bodies in every life, right? So it makes sense that you feel attracted to certain things and to certain people, and that you want to, experience certain things in this life. It just makes sense because it's always within you. And maybe you're in this shell, in this body now, and in the next life you're going to be in a totally different body. But your soul will recognize certain people and certain things, and I really don't think that's that out there at all. So, I encourage you to maybe give this a try if you feel guided to. You don't have to, but if you feel guided to, I honestly think helps a lot, and especially in terms of those special soulmate connections that you feel instantly with people in this life. I guarantee you, if you just try to do a past life meditation, it will enlighten you, and it will help you grow with that person and with all of your soulmate relationships, but it's just going to help you as your own person, as your own soul, to grow and evolve. And it's just here to help you. It's just another tool to help you move forward and to help you basically live in this life. Because there are things from past lives that can really feel like, they're holding us back. Whether we're conscious of it or not, we kind of tend to relive certain things over and over and over again. And in order to break that karma, as they say, is to just become aware of kind of what happened. Now, I'm not saying you have to become aware of all of your past lives, because that's a lot of stuff and it's a lot of information. But whatever is meant to come up for you will come up for you. So even if you just, like I said, Google it or YouTube some sort of past life regression video, it actually can really help you release your old patterns and face a lot of emotions that you feel on a regular basis, but you can't pinpoint why you feel so sad, or why you feel stranded, or why you feel strangled, or why you feel like you can't talk, or why you feel like, whatever, there's any kind of problem or blockage in your body. This sheds light on those things, and this also brings to light your relationship dynamics, like I said, with your friends, with your family, with your romantic relationships. This is going to help you so much. And like I said, it's not going to be easy. It's going to bring up a lot of emotion. And that's certainly what I've gone through, and it can kind of make you wonder why you would choose to go through the same thing over and over and over again in life after life. But again, this is all just here for our growth, and that's all everything is ever all about, is learning and growing and evolving. And nothing comes up to hurt you, any kind of new awareness that comes to you in any form, whether it's a dream or whether it's just a gut feeling or whether you do a meditation, anything that comes up for you is meant to come up for you. And it's just about trusting that, and trusting that you are where you're meant to be, and just have faith that you can change any habit that bothers you, and you can break any cycle that you've had from past lives, and you can do this on your own. And you don't have to have, psychics come in and tell you what to do or how to heal or how to rid this negative energy. A lot of that stuff is unfortunately bogus. Like, you have to do this on your own. Healing is something that we do for ourselves. And if you ever want to heal any relationship with anyone else, it starts with healing within yourself. And like I said, this will naturally come up for you at any time. You may have dreams. You may try a meditation, and these things are here to help you. Angel cards are here to help you. Any kind of thing that you're drawn to is here to help you. So this is what I say. This is the end message, as always, is, it's not real because I say it's real. It's not for you because I say it's for you. It's about tuning in to what feels right for you. So, follow your dreams. You have these dreams and passions and talents in this life for a reason, and you're drawn to it for a reason. And you've likely carried over, many talents from past lives, but you've also maybe carried in some habits that aren't so healthy from past lives. And it's, not meant to hurt you or drive you insane. It's meant to come up to help you grow and evolve and to shed old stuff and to always practice being in the present moment. That's always what it's all about. So follow your heart and follow your intuition and trust your gut, and trust what you feel when you interact with other people. And allow yourself to feel your emotions. Your emotions are always valid, and it's not about other people validating your emotions for you. It's always about allowing yourself to feel your emotions and trusting that you can always connect to your higher self and to source, to spirit, to God, to your angels, to whoever you want to refer to. And if you're drawn to angel cards, then you can try angel cards. If you're drawn to a certain class, then try that class. If you're drawn to a certain video, then watch the video. And this is always just about trusting yourself. So I encourage you to trust yourself today, and thank you for watching. If you felt guided to watch, then trust that you were meant to watch it for some reason. And even if you have a hard time understanding certain concepts, that's fine. Just trust that whatever is meant to resonate with you will resonate with you at the right time for a reason. And whatever is meant to not resonate with you or go over your head will. It's all about your path. And there's no right or wrong. Life isn't black and white. This is just me expressing what I experience and me hoping to help someone else out there, because I know that I can't be alone in this. And I know there's many other people that are probably experiencing past life regression stuff, and it's tough, and you can feel like you're a little out there, and you can feel like people are going to judge you, but I'm telling you, this stuff is very real and very valid, and that is just from my own experience. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and please continue to do what you feel drawn to, and you will never be led astray or down the wrong path, because you can never really take the wrong path. Maybe you feel like you're going off path, but everything leads you to where you need to go, and you will always end up where you need to be at the right time with the right people around you. Like I said, there's big major points that we need to hit in this life that we previously planned out for ourselves, and maybe we even get glimpses of it. We may have dreams of it or visions of it. But it's not about stressing out about getting to where you need to get years from now. And it's great to have goals, but it's not about stressing out about how to get there. You're going to get to where you need to go at the right time. And right now is all that really matters. And in this now moment, you are where you need to be. And that's it. So we'll leave it at that. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.